I almost forgot. I have I was in London, and something happened in London. Oh no, you'll want to listen to this. Something happened in London that blew my mind, and some people back there, it's going to blow their minds. Oh. And random people, perhaps throughout the room, it will blow your minds. Other people in the room will say, I have no idea what you're talking about. But just know, it's mind-blowing. So, while I was in England, my guitar, which I love my guitar, and I have a guitar case, which is really, really, really well behaved. Like I can stand my guitar case up, say stay, and it stays. Nearly 100% of the time. We experienced 99.02 in London, and it kind of went, boop. It was in the case. And nothing, you know, like it didn't break, but like it started playing a little different, you know. You wouldn't know, but I knew. And so, you know, I'm talking to Mick Terry, who was the artist that I was producing, and Mick Wilson, who was the engineer we were working with, because in England, this is another aside, in England there are 5 guy names. And everybody is either Mick, or Tom, or John, or Donnie. That's basically, everybody you meet is like the same. It's like Donnie, Mick. And I'm telling them about this, and they're like, oh, you should, we know the place. You go take it and get it set up. And, go see the Guitar Whisperer. Do you know who the Guitar Whisperer in London is? This is gonna blow your minds. Brinsley Mother Schwartz. Brinsley Schwartz, people. Who's with me?
Yeah.
For the love of God. Brinsley Schwartz, who, as we know, was in the band Brinsley Schwartz. Later was in Graham Parker and
The Rumor.
And then later on, after that, was Brinsley Schwartz. Okay, like amazing guitarist, cult figure, unbelievable. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, Brinsley Schwartz is like teching guitar. And I was like, boy, I think do I feel sad about that? They're like, no, it's not sad at all. It's like, he goes out with Pink Floyd, and it's like the Rumor got back together, and it's like, no, he's just really, this is what he likes to do, and like, you should go see him, you'll see. So, I make plans to go see him. It turns out I go see him on his birthday. I know. And, I go in, and I was like, oh, I got this guitar, it fell, and then I set up, and I'm talking to some guy who's not Brinsley Schwartz. And I know this because A, he doesn't look like Brinsley Schwartz. And B, when I tell him I have the guitar and it needs to go get set up, he's like, oh, well, I'll call up young Mr. Schwartz. And Brinsley Schwartz comes out. Young is, was being used in a ironic sense. Hipsters. And Brinsley Schwartz comes out, and it's like, oh my God, you're Brinsley Schwartz. I said that on the inside. But even so, it was like, yeah, I know, I'm Brinsley Schwartz. And so I was like, oh, I'm having a bit of trouble with the guitar. It's like, yeah, I got it, and blah, 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 and you know, it fell, and then my guitar case, he's like, oh, your guitar case. So, here's the deal. Here's what he does. He opens up the case. He's like, and so do you use a capo with this? It's like, yes. It's like, yes. What capo do you use? And I was like, I use a Kaler. He's like, and do you put it right near the frets? So I'm like, yeah. He's like, And I don't know, you know, this is a thing that you have to know my guitar a little bit better to know this, but remember when my guitar got broken?
Yes.
Okay, so US Airways, God bless you for remembering that, or not forgetting that. No one ever forget it was US Airways that broke my guitar and didn't pay for it. US Airways. Hate them. But, you know, this guitar was repaired in Ann Arbor by somebody who wasn't Brinsley Schwartz, but it's an impeccable repair job. Like, you know, I can't see it and I know where it is. And from the top, you can't see it. You can't see it. And Brinsley's like, yes. Oh, and I see the headstock snapped at one point. And he's like, he hasn't touched the guitar, he hasn't picked it up. He's like, oh yes, so I see you're using 11s on it. You know, he's like talking about the string gauge. He knows this. He's like, oh yes, you do a lot of work on up on the neck. You play finger style, yes? He's like, it's like, what the? I was like, woo, he's the guitar whisperer, right? So I'm like, yeah, you know what? A second ago I was just like really freaked out that you were Brinsley Schwartz, but now that's sort of like secondary to the whole thing. I'm just freaked out by you, but in a really good way. And he's like, oh yes, well, do you mind if I take it out of the case? Like, well, I was kind of hoping at some point you would. Yeah, you're doing a good job just looking at it, but all right. So he takes the guitar out of the case, and he's like, oh yes, you know. And he says, I'm going to take it out back. He comes back like 2 minutes later. Everything's great. It's like, and I'm like, that's amazing. What do I owe you? He was like, oh, don't bother about it. I have no idea. He probably sprinkled holy water on it. He made it great again. And so I was like, well, you know, I don't know how tolerant you are of this, but you're probably aware that, like, you're Brinsley Schwartz, right? He's like, yes. I was like, so, you know, I just want to tell you something. You know, it's like, when I first started playing live full time, and whenever I would write a new song, I'd be really nervous about like playing it in front of people for the first few times. So what I would do is I would introduce the song and I would say, oh, this is a song off of a really rare Brinsley Schwartz bootleg. Because I knew then everybody would like love it because like you're so cool, and then if it was like on a bootleg of your thing, like that's even cooler. And so then like I could play the song and it would be fine and everybody would be okay, and then it would always get a roaring applause. It's like, oh, that's an interesting story. I'm not sure if I should say thank you or ask you for money. With that in mind, this is the very, very first tune I ever remember pulling the Brinsley Schwartz bootleg trick with so many years ago. This is not really a tune by Brinsley Schwartz. That was like a 37-minute story.